All right. So this is our camera.
This is our camera.
But you don't have to mind. You can come here.
I mean, at
sometimes.
one point, I'll look at myself randomly.
Look very tired.
No, you don't.
Oh, Jesus.
You're great. I almost didn't put on any makeup, and then I was just like, I think Tami looks decent when she films her. Let me try. Look decent.
I don't look that decent.
No, you look decent.
But
I don't ever see you come on here looking like straight pop down.
You know, I think people are so used to me looking pop down from the vlog that they give me a lot of leeway.
They give you a blind.
For this situation.
They give you a blind, for sure.
Anyway, hi everybody. Welcome back to Tami Tackles Everything. I am not alone today, which always means I am 100% happier when I'm joined by a guest, a friend, a family member. And today I'm joined by somebody who is all three. So this is Cams, as I call her. Cams, you use your full name when you do your professional thing name?
No, never.
Okay,
never.
got it.
But it's actually also absurd for me when I meet a stranger and they're like, Cams, and I'm like, I don't know
me?
you. Like, I don't know you. Only my friends call me Cams. But, you know.
But your thing was Cams.
It's my fault for introducing myself as Cams. Instead of being like Camille.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. So
yeah.
She's Cams today.
Yeah.
And Cams and I have known each other for a long time. Many years, I'd say, at this point.
I want to say 13.
Never.
Yeah, man. Like 13.
It's true.
Yeah.
So we met years and years ago and we connected and we never disconnected, which is great. You know, one of those people who you just kind of find and they become a part of your tribe, even if we live in other places.
Absolutely.
Even if we don't talk for months at a time.
Even if you're a hermit like me, who just disappears for 4 months. But, you know.
When we come together, we connect and, you know, we have this amazing time, chemistry. We think a lot alike in many regards, as you'll see as we go through this podcast. And something really amazing happened. When was it, Cams? 2 years ago?
2 years ago now.
2 years ago. Just to give you a little backstory. Cams has always been my friend who has done like a few different things. And always well. And so when Cams told me that she was now a nutrition coach, and not just a nutrition coach, I want to make it very clear that you also did a lot of mindset work as well. So it was almost like you were mixing a little bit of life coaching in with nutrition.
Which sounds absurd to me to ever think I'm going to life coach someone, but...
Yeah, kind of life coached me.
Yeah. Oh.
Not kind of, you definitely did. 2 years ago when she said, you know, that she was doing this, I immediately was like, really? Like... I really reached out to you because I wanted to lose weight.
Right.
That was my big thing.
Oh, that was her initial
you know, everybody have 10 pounds to lose. Blah, blah, blah.
Pre-baby body.
Yes.
All that stuff.
I had just had us about a year before or something.
Yeah.
And I was ready to like try and do something different.
Yeah.
Obviously, like every other woman, grew up on fad diets. Everything from, let's name some of them.
Diets, Weight Watchers, cabbage soup. That Beyonce Master Cleanse.
The lemonade one.
We did, what was that diet we did? Me, you, Tessie.
Oh, the belly fat cure.
Oh God, the belly fat cure. It was like a low carb thing. Oh my God. I remember being like, you know when they say hungry? Jesus Christ. Just days of like, how am I gonna function?
Yes.
You know? No
I
carbs.
remember sitting in that, what used to be my dining room and reading labels
the book,
and
we were
going
like,
through things. Yeah.
Oh God.
This is before there
we
were
all
apps.
had the book. We all had the book.
I still have
Wait,
the book.
did we share the book at one point? I
We
think
probably
before some
did.
of us, like before each of us got the book, we're like, yo, lend me the book. I need to like see what these pages say.
The point is that we have
God.
like every, well, I don't want to say every other woman. Yes,
no,
but
honestly, like every woman.
yeah, we have bonded
Yeah.
in the past over how much we hate our bodies.
Right. Absolutely.
We saw our mothers do
Unfortunately,
it.
yes. Yeah.
And so when Cams was, you know, I saw her posting all this amazing content and I saw her transforming and I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And I immediately picked up the phone. I was like, is it like a low carb? Is it keto?
I was like,
is
what's
it this
the key?
and that?
What's the secret?
Blah, blah. And she was like, no, it's none of that. I was like, what do you mean? Like, you know, how does this
We're
work?
changing
Blah, blah, blah.
our relationship with
Yes,
food. We're changing the way
yes.
we look at food. We're changing the way we look at our bodies. We're changing the way we talk to ourselves. All of it.
And I was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. She
when
was
do
like,
I
I'm
eat?
in. She was like, I'm in. What do I eat? When do I start? And I was like, all right, hold on.
and thus started this next level of our not just friendship but now I became her client.
Yeah.
Which, was amazing. So let's start there. I decided to sign up for your program,
Yes.
your one-on-one, and it was literally one of the most life-changing things for me.
Yay.
So can you, in a nutshell, kind of explain what it is that you do?
Okay, so on the surface, what I do is I teach clients about macro tracking. Now, obviously, when I say macro tracking, that sounds really complicated. What I'm really doing is teaching you the true nutrition value of food, so that no matter what your cultural background is, no matter what your goal is, weight loss, weight gain, weight maintenance, you now know how to look at food, all food, and you know what is going to be the most nutritious food for you. You no longer look at other people's food or other people and say, oh, I wish I could eat that, or how does she eat that and look like that and all that kind of stuff. You now start to really just focus on yourself, how you're going to take care of yourself via the foods that you eat, and really just changing your relationship with food in that way. So when I worked with Tami, her goal at the time was weight loss. I don't want to say pre-baby body, yes, even though it was right after Oz, but she wanted to get back to just feeling like herself. A lot of my clients come to me like that. And so I teach them how to do that, not just with their food intake, but also keeping their energy levels high. How are they making time for themselves? Are they getting enough sleep? Are they doing things that bring them joy? Because the truth is, we tend to think of weight loss as just like this one thing. I'm going to eat less and I'm going to go to the gym. But the truth is, it's this kind of all-encompassing life thing. So we ended up going over all of that with Tami, talking about how she's going to take care of herself with, that would have been 4 kids, although Gia would have been out of the house.
Gia would have been gone.
So then that would have been 3 kids really in the house. How she's gonna take it? No, 4 kids.
Yeah,
3 kids.
Alex
3
was
kids.
here at the time
4
too.
kids.
Yeah.
So Alex tried to say, I can't keep track. So how she was gonna take care of herself already with so much on her plate. And it's funny because some days we would talk and I would just literally be like, Dams, how many hours have you slept? Like, how late were you up last night? She had never made that connection before on any kind of weight loss journey. So really just helping her make those connections, see that it's this whole lifestyle thing, and also helping her to shift her perspective from not just the number on the scale, but to how she's feeling, how her life is going. Can she show up fully in her life with all the energy that she wants to show up with, and just how all of that was connected to her food?
It was so much more than I thought I was going
like
to
a meal
start
plan.
a diet.
Yeah.
And
Tami was like, tell me what to eat. What's the meal plan? And I was like, no, tell me what you like to eat. Tell me what you want to eat. And she was like, what do you mean?
I was so shocked.
Well, you were like, I want to eat Hershey's Kisses. And I was like, we can eat Hershey's Kisses, but we also need to eat some chicken. Okay. We also need to eat some eggs, but we can do Hershey's Kisses. You know?
And that's what I wanted to say. Like, there was a point where I was so used to diet culture that it took a lot for me to break out of some of the myths that I had picked up along the way. I didn't even realize that I had something called fair foods, and if you're listening to this, you might relate. For example, the culture, the diet culture has demonized carbs.
Right. The thought that
sugar,
if I need to lose weight, immediately cut my sugar, cut my carbs.
Exactly.
No rice, no bread. None of that awesome stuff.
That's hellacious to me.
Yeah.
But I realized that I thought that certain foods would make me fat. So I thought that if I ate a donut,
immediately makes you fat. Immediately.
And it would have ruined my whole day.
Right.
And I'm off the wheel, and there we go back down the spiral.
Right.
And so a lot of the work we did together was helping me to break that.
Yeah. At one point, and I do this with most clients actually, I definitely gave Tami an assignment, and it was like, you need to eat 5 Hershey's Kisses today. You need to go to KFC with Wayn'e today. You need to go to Wendy's this week
eat the donut.
Eat the donut. No guilt. I want you to message me before. I want you to message me after. How did you feel? I want you to weigh yourself the next day and realize nothing happened. I ate the Wendy's and nothing happened. And then we also talked about just like straight facts. You ate the Wendy's. Wendy's has more salt than the chicken you make at home. So your body is simply reacting to that. You are not fat. You did not gain 3 pounds of fat in one day. Your body is just holding on to water. You know what I mean? So being able to make those connections was awesome.
I was scared when you told me that I had to weigh myself every day, because prior to that I never really weighed myself. And the thing that it did for me was to detach me from the number.
Here we go.
So I would see, by the way, weight loss does not look like this.
Exactly.
It literally looks like this. It's
and
crazy.
as long as the trend, the trajectory,
it's a trend that you're looking at. So
absolutely.
she even made me download another app that would help me to get the average, because that's actually how you track weight loss.
Absolutely.
It's an average of the week or however long, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like all those things were so life-changing for me because I really looked at things one way or the other.
Which so many women do. And you know how it is. You wake up, you check the scale. If it is 2 pounds more than you expected it to be, your whole day is destroyed.
Just crazy.
Yeah, like it emotionally wrecks you.
Yeah.
So I helped Tami, and this is what happens with most people. Of course, they get vexed with me when I say, bust out the scale. We're going to step on it every day. They're like, Camille, no, the scale is toxic. And I say, guys, looking at the scale is like checking your bank account. Is it toxic to look in your bank account and say, yo, I have $1,000, which means today I cannot spend $1,200?
Yeah.
It's not toxic. It's just a data point. It's just information, right? It's literally a data point. That's all it is. Yeah.
I love that. And basically where Cam also brings her expertise was then, so yeah, she didn't give me a diet plan, but she was saying, hey, this is your budget, as she calls it, for the day, your calorie intake. Yeah. And this is how you can decide now.
You get to decide
how
what's
you're
worth
spending
it. What's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was a new concept for me because, like I said, I was just so used to being told what to eat. So you put me,
two eggs, half
this,
bread,
then that.
None of this.
Whereas you were like, hey, I don't know your life. I don't know what you like to eat.
Yeah.
Everybody knows I like to eat my Wendy's, my Sonia's. I love to eat. I love my patty. I want to eat it all.
Yeah.
And so what
You're a
I
foodie.
quickly, I'm a
You're
big
a foodie.
foodie.
You like to explore.
I do.
So we talked about that, and we talked about essentially how are you going to fit in things like that, and essentially just how do you fit those things into your day. We can't necessarily do like a Wendy's lunch and a Burger King breakfast and I don't know, whatever else for dinner.
Yeah.
But we're going to say, okay, it's Monday. I can definitely have that for lunch, and breakfast and dinner might be something lighter. Just how are you going to make it all work based on her lifestyle, her life, her goals.
Absolutely.
All her
And it also taught me that I could also change out certain things if I wanted to accommodate other things.
Absolutely.
So, you know, it was really eye-opening for me that I didn't have to cut myself off from food or things that I love.
You feel more confident around food now.
Absolutely. And my joy is intact because a part of my joy is food.
Yeah, food.
So I remember my first Christmas maybe working with you or I had some big holiday coming up or something, which is often like a lot of stress for people. And I remember, I didn't grow up with any bad relationship with food in my mind. I've always eaten what I wanted. I've never felt like, and I can't believe how much this unveiled to me about how I felt about
things you
food.
didn't even realize that you had in your head,
and it
like
made
food rules and stuff that you were following unconsciously.
And it made me ask everybody I knew, especially the women,
Yeah.
like, what are your food rules? Do you know you have food rules? I'm asking, you know, like, do you realize that you have certain things that you think, if I eat this, this is the outcome?
But also, on the flip side, there are some things that we think, oh, if I have this coconut water, it's magically gonna like cleanse my inside, right? So like not something you're scared of, but something that you're thinking, every day I'm gonna have this green juice and it's gonna do something to my this smoothie. When in reality, you know, this coconut water, this green juice, this smoothie might actually be taking you further away from your body goals. But that's, for me, some of it just like neutralizes food. You're not looking at stuff anymore as like good or bad or magic. Can we talk
about that a little bit about how you change that concept for me about good food and bad food, and how food is neither good nor bad.
There are foods that are more nutritious. There are foods that are less nutritious. There are some foods that you eat straight up because they just bring you joy. There are other foods that you eat certain vegetables because yes, your body just needs those nutrients. But the truth is, putting everything on this level playing field removes its power. And it's funny how we don't realize how often we walk around and we say, oh, I was bad this morning. You know, I had 3 fried dumplings, I was bad this morning. Food has no moral character, okay? You're bad if you murder someone, if you steal something, if you cheat someone, okay? If you're a liar, you're bad, okay? You're not bad because you ate dumplings.
It's like when people ask me if the baby's a good baby, I'm like, well, she didn't rob a bag.
Exactly.
I think
she's decent, you know, she's getting by.
No, but that was, and maybe for some of you, that is actually an aha moment. When she said that to me, I was like, that's so true. Like, food cannot hold this moral
You're
character.
not a bad person because you like a fried dumpling. I love a fried dumpling. I never said no to fried dumpling.
It's just how does it fit into,
your
life
day,
and
into your life, absolutely.
So that was really major for me. I mean, the whole concept changed my life and changed the way that I have a relationship with food now. And it was so important for me to do it, not because of just a weight loss, which by the way, took a solid 4 months.
Right.
That was the other thing
That was another thing, Tami, before, like most of us. And I want to say, it's not something that's intrinsically wrong with us. We are marketed to believe the faster something happens, it's like the better it is. It makes it like more valid. If someone says to you, I lost 20 pounds and it took me 2 years, you're like, okay,
what?
so
Yeah.
when someone says, I lost 20 pounds in a month, you're like, oh, how did you do it? Tell me how you did it, right? And you're comparing yourself and you're saying, I want that. Like, as if that quick result makes you deserve a cookie. There's no prize just because you did it faster, right? So it was also eye-opening for Tami, for me to tell her, listen, yes, you lost 0.3 pounds this week, and that's exactly where you should be, okay? Because I'm not in the business of helping you lose 10 pounds in 3 weeks, just so that when you stop working with me, you gain 15 pounds in a month. And then you come back to me and say, well, Cams, I'm up 15 pounds. Then I would be a bad person, right? Because that for me would be like, then I'm just a charlatan who sells you weight loss. Yes. So you gain it back immediately and you keep coming back to me, which is actually what you find a lot in the diet industry. And of course, I don't consider myself to be a part of the diet industry because I'm not selling you that. I'm teaching you something that once you're done working with me, you have that.
You'll know.
And now that like Tami has had IV, Tami's not back working with me after IV. She's now applying the things that she learned back in the day.
Easily.
Because she knows what to do now. You know what I mean? She now just needs to go ahead and do it. So sure, we talk about accountability. Sometimes you need that support, but it is not about teaching her something new or teaching her how to do something again. She knows how to do it now.
It's so true. It's like once you know something, you can apply it. And I would probably sign up for group coaching to just have
something
that,
to keep you in the headspace.
Yes, exactly. And just to also have the community.
Yes.
Like having other people do it with you and being able to share recipes or something you like was just always amazing. It was a big deal for me, just a selling point. I don't want to say a selling point, but whenever I'm talking to people who sometimes reach out to me, because we've done quite a few lives together. Some lives and stuff. Everybody knows I'm a massive supporter of Cam's, not because she's my friend. I love you. It's not that. But because I really believe in what she is capable of, what she does, and her message.
Thanks,
and it's worked in my life. It's not something that I'm like. It really has. So even the other day I said to somebody, because we were talking about this, and I was like, you know what's the best part for me? That every pound that I've lost with Cams doing this, they have stayed off. And that's amazing for me. Like,
for me, it's all about that, the long term.
So even though it took 4 months to maybe lose this X amount of pounds, I haven't seen those pounds
just like pop back on
in like 2 weeks.
Right.
And so now, now I'm at that point where I'm like, okay, I started to work out now. I need to revisit my macros. I need to look at how it's going, blah, 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 blah.
It's literally just like, you know how I talked about it being like a budget before? It's literally like if you think about your family budget. There are moments where you're spending a lot, you're doing a lot. And there are moments where you check back your budget and you say, yo, Wayne, we have to tighten the belt for 2 months because we have a little goal, right? And it's the same with your food, your nutrition, your weight, all that stuff. You know how to budget. You know what to do with the food and the macros. If you look and you say, I need to just tighten up my for a second. You just look at 2 months and you tighten it up. That's all it is.
And one of the things that was key for me was prioritizing protein.
Yes.
So it's always like a great starting point for me now. So even before, so my version of tightening my belt sometimes or like tightening thing is just, hey, I'm just gonna up my protein. I'm just gonna prioritize my protein because
instead of having toast and coffee for breakfast, I'm gonna have an egg and coffee. Just
I do want to say I don't think I've ever eaten as much.
Yeah, true. You don't realize how much more food you can eat when you're eating, I don't want to say like the right things, like they're wrong things to eat, but when you start prioritizing protein, too many people come back to me and they say, Cams, I'm eating so much food, like I'm full.
Too much.
And I'm like, I
remember saying to you, are you sure?
Are you sure? Cams was like, Cams, shouldn't I be eating 1,000 calories? And I said, no, not at all. That's the nonsense you've been marketed to believe before, that we need to eat as little as possible. No, we actually need to eat more. We need to eat more of right.
Can I ask you then, and this is something we've spoken about before, but let's say it for our audience here. What about if you're vegetarian or vegan?
Okay, so vegetarians and vegans, straight up, you will never get as much protein as meat eaters, right? It means you have to eat a lot more food to get higher protein numbers, which of course tends to then mean more calories, because vegetarians and vegans, your protein sources all have carbohydrates attached to them, okay? When you think about beans, when you think about, tofu, some of these things, they have carbs attached to them. So that's just natural. If I'm talking to a meat eater, I'm typically going to give them a protein goal of, let's say, minimum 100 grams, maybe anywhere up to 150, 170. It all depends on you personally. If I'm dealing with a vegetarian vegan, we might start at 60 grams of protein. They might be killing it if they're getting 80 grams of protein, and that is fine. That's their lifestyle choice, right? So I just find a way to meet them where they are. I'm not going to say to them, you need to just start eating some chicken. Like, if you really want to do this, you have to start eating chicken. Like, no,
My girl, never think about eating some chicken.
Chicken nice, But no, I mean, obviously people have their moral reasons. Absolutely. Maybe they have religious reasons that they stay away from meat, health reasons, and that's fine. So,
sorry, that was that last.
I think that was my child. No. So I do work with vegans and vegetarians. I just don't give them major protein goals. I meet them where they are for whatever reason that they've decided to be vegan, vegetarian, religious, whatever it is, whatever the reason is.
And you also work with men.
I do work with men,
so
which,
lots of people think this is just for women.
I know, because listen, I mean, when I'm like looking for my clients, I'm talking to me, right? But I do have men reach out, and funny enough, I've had like some 70-year-old men reach out, some like 40-year-old guys, and it's funny. We only think women have food struggles. Men have food struggles too. I've worked with people who literally are just like, I need to change my relationship with food, because they also have this kind of skewed view of, I'm going to eat all this stuff, but then I need to work out to burn it off, or I need to punish myself because I've eaten all these things. So we have a tendency to think it's only women, but men need help too.
I do want to talk a bit about that, like why I had this recent, kind of breakthrough for myself, because I started working out at the gym again. When I worked with Cams, I was working out at home. But I had switched to more weightlifting, which I found to be, or strength training. Yeah, which was way better for me than a lot of cardio that I was doing before, because I thought I had to really
sweat to this level and raise your heart rate, and that's a whole nother conversation.
It's a whole other conversation
about putting on muscle and how that lets you eat more but look smaller. That's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. And we could talk about skeletal muscle mass, and
we can talk about that as you age and how you're losing muscle mass,
but that's another podcast.
That's a whole other podcast.
And I'm no pro, but I've learned a lot about this through working with you, and starting to listen to yourself and other coaches and this and that. It's amazing. One thing that was a big breakthrough for me was this idea that, was I doing this because I hated myself or because I loved myself? So do I wake up every day and go to the gym because I hate myself or because I love myself? Am I choosing this food because I hate the way I look or because I love how I feel when I eat this? That's huge.
That's huge. Literally, when you think about that, it's a phrase, you catch more flies with honey. I feel like it applies to yourself as well, right? When you're doing a form of exercise that you hate, when you're eating food that you hate, then yes, you wake up, you don't look forward to those things because you are torturing / punishing yourself, right? But when you start to look at exercise as an investment in yourself, an investment in your mobility, an investment in your future, taking time away for you to exercise, let's say 3 times a week, that's an hour to yourself. No Ivy, no Atlas, no Wayne saying, Tami, follow me here. No, not Momo saying, Mrs. Mitch, what do I, like none of the things coming at you, right? It's something you're doing for yourself so you can show up for all the other stuff. Same with your food. Taking the time to fry those 2 eggs in the morning versus just walking out the door with that cup of coffee, that's an investment in your energy later in the day. So that at 2 p.m., when you're picking up all the kids, when you're doing all the things, you are now not crashing and you're not able to show up, right? All of that is approaching yourself, your body, your food from a place of love. And I mean, just think about it. In any relationship, the relationship you build with yourself is just like the relationship you build with other people. If you have a friend and you don't invest any time, any effort, any energy in any of it, right? You treat them like you hate them, then that's not really your friend, right? Yeah. Same for yourself. If you treat your body like you hate it, that's not a relationship that you're nurturing. You know what I mean?
And it's certainly not one you really want to stay in, you
right.
know? And we're in our bodies and in our minds
it's our
all
one body.
day. Yeah.
It's our one body.
It's always surprising to me how mean I can be to myself.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's always surprising to me when I look in a mirror, I zone in on one part of my body and I can't just zoom out.
Right.
And I have been doing so much better at that over the last couple of years.
Right.
Kind of zooming out and just being loving towards myself. But it is so, I cannot believe how tricky that is.
If you think about it, and I feel like this is something I've heard you say, maybe you've read it or seen it in a podcast, something. If you think about when you wake up and you focus on gratitude, right? What am I grateful for today? Yes, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's really going to be terrible today, but what things are going to be good today? Where can I put positive energy? Same goes for your body. Certainly, I look in the mirror. I don't particularly love that I don't have like a good ass for a black girl. Right? I don't love that, right? But I don't look in the mirror and focus on that.
That she keeps it real. Like, if you go and check out her content, that's going to be her favorite part about Cams, and she will say the things.
Right? But it's not going to help me to look in the mirror and only focus on that, right?
True.
It's going to help me to look in the mirror and say, yo, look how my shoulders and my arms look cut. Look how I like how my jawline.
Look at my beautiful hair, by the way.
Right,
hello.
Thank you, right? But the point is, give energy and like feed the positive things, right? And the truth is, they start to overshadow the negative things, right? It's where you put your energy, that's what grows.
It's so true.
Is the truth. So put your energy towards negative thoughts on your body, and those will grow. Yeah.
It's really an important thing, and it's really something that it takes a lot of work and consistent work and consistently showing.
Absolutely.
You know, this is what I was thinking just now. If we could take a step back and talk to ourselves like how we maybe talk to our children or people we love, I think it would be, I would never look at my kid and zone in on a part of his or her body and be like,
yo, look at that.
Jeez.
Never.
Or I would never, while they were eating something, be like, why are you eating that?
Are you sure you want to eat that?
Yeah, you'll get fat if you eat that. And many people had that said to them when they were kids. And so it becomes...
think about how that sticks with you.
And the internal chatter.
Oh my God.
And so I'm also, not just because I have a daughter, but also with her sons. And my sister taught me this. My sister who has sons, I never forget, because, you know, we always think about our bodies as it relates to maybe other women, which I know sounds crazy.
Comparison thing.
And I remember the day that she switched everything when her son asked her, Mommy, am I fat? And it was such
heard her say something about that about herself.
And it was a wake-up call for her to be like, whoa, I have to really be careful.
We never think about the fact that little boys are
watching
too. They are absorbing
Little boys are watching too. And so I really feel this strong need to get it right. Because they're watching me. It doesn't matter what I tell them. It doesn't. I cannot be sitting
from
here.
The example.
Absolutely. I better be eating the foods I want them to eat. I better be getting up and exercising if I want them to do that.
And listen, everything we just said before about saying I'm good or bad because I ate something, like when I tell you your littles are listening, I had someone say the other day, and of course I can only control what I say and do. Someone who was visiting the other day, she ate whatever she ate, and then she said she was going to go exercise so she could burn off the calories of what she just ate. And I had then my shadow, that's my little guys, say to me, so Mommy, how many calories do you think I burned at swimming? And I said, why, what are calories? Like, why are you worried about calories? I still don't know what a calorie is. Shut up. And, you know, and it's like, she just said, you know, she said, no, you know, I just heard Auntie whoever say, you know, she was going to go walk and like burn off the calories. And I said, listen, does your energy feel good? She said, yeah. I said, did you make it through the swimming lesson? She said, yeah. I said, were you hungry after the swimming lesson? She said, yeah. I said, did we eat something you enjoyed after the swimming lesson? She said, yeah. I said, perfect. Life's good. I said, you know, you have the energy to do the things you need to do. Don't worry about calories, about any of that. And I mean, that's also hard. You know, I do remember growing up and it's like, you'd hear an aunt or a mother's friend,
especially growing up in Jamaica.
Someone's friend. You know when you go to church and they say, "What's the way you get fatty?" and you're just like, that's not an appropriate greeting. That's not how you say
I would
good
like
morning,
to say this,
you know?
as a little girl who was on the flip side of that. Yamagai.
Oh,
Bonnie.
my sister was on the flip
it was
side
like,
of that.
This isn't good either.
Yeah.
This does not feel good
None
either.
of it.
Like being
you know what?
criticized.
None of the body comments feel good.
No.
And so now I actually make sure when I see my daughter's friends, and like I haven't seen them in a year, I just say, "Oh my God, you've grown so much. You're turning into such a beautiful young lady. You've gotten so tall," you know. And I say, and then the truth is, I also try not to let the focus be their looks, right? Because that's not really something they have control over. So it's also more a conversation of, what are you into now? So what game you're playing now? What books you're reading now?
What's your favorite food?
We're still playing with dolls now? You know, like what we doing? Because then it's also more like, who is this little person? Not just a criticism of this little person's looks. You know what I mean? Because that sticks with them.
It sure does. It sure does. And it's something that we are hyper aware of now.
Yeah.
And we also have to be careful.
We're like the new age modern moms.
And we're like the first generation trying, first generation body positivity kind of crew. And so we're trying to figure out how to know
just how to navigate all of that.
Because there is a flip side as well, where you go too far one way.
True.
We're finding our happy middle, and whatever works for you and your family. What we are saying as well, though, is as much focus as we put on our girls, we need to remember that the boys are listening too. And most importantly, little you is listening. Little you is in there trying to navigate. You know, and so
for sure,
just want to put that out there. Cams, I think that the work you do is so amazing. I think it's so filled with purpose. I have benefited so much from it that it has just been the thing that I wanted to kind of jump on and tell everybody about over the last couple of years. But we want to continue this conversation. It's going to go in a little bit of a different direction. I may have to split this up into 2 episodes. So before I close off this segment and move into something else, where can people find you? How can people jump on this train? How does it work?
That's like a big dirty question,
it is,
right?
But you have a big dirty umbrella.
I'm in the middle of my big dirty transition. Okay, so you used to be able to find me on Instagram at Cam's Mindset Macros, but now you can find me on Instagram at cams.nutritiondesignlab. Now, that's like a strange name. It's a departure from Cam's Mindset Macros.
And we'll come back to what that is, but I would love you to tell people how, is there a link there that they can...
Sure. So basically, honestly, Instagram is the place to find me. I literally show up on Instagram every day. It's my... Like I told myself going into business, it's too much for me to try to like be everywhere, do all the things. Instagram is my deal. I'm there every day. You can DM me. There are links to my website there.
I was going to ask. Your website has
my website has all the info. And basically, if you want to work with me on the nutrition side of things, I run a group program. It's the only way to work with me now. Tams, of course, was lucky enough to be able to work with me one-on-one.
You really don't have to do one-on-one. That's
so,
not, I would say lucky enough, but I think group coaching is the right way.
Group coaching is the way forward. So I run this group coaching program, Confident You. I only run it 2 or 3 times a year. So look out for that. I talk about it every freaking day when I'm running it. So,
but even on her Instagram, if you go and follow and you just scroll back, you will get so much information that so many people have said help them. They don't even sign up and I've lost 5 pounds.
I ran into a girl in a shoe stand the other day and she was like, Cams, I love your content. I scroll back, I get all the info. And like I love that. Like that's the whole point of it, you know, being able to show up and like help people. Because also I went through my own transition and journey with my weight, with my body. I felt very alone. And that's actually what sparked Cam's Mindset Macros. It was just like, I felt so alone with this. I felt ashamed to talk about it. And there's something about shame, right? That like keeps you kind of in the shadows, kind of quiet. And I just said, you know what? I feel like I want to share about this. I don't think I have anything to be ashamed of. And I bet there are other people who are struggling with this. So let me create a safe space for them. So, you know, that's how it all started.
It's certainly been a safe space for me, and it's certainly been transformational in more ways than one. And I really couldn't have done it without you. So I'm so grateful, and I really hope that everybody checks it out. We are going to be moving into just another part of this conversation, which I think is going to become a part 2. But something that was amazing was last week I did an episode on being a multi-potentialite and what that's like. Well, I'm sitting with a friend of mine who is one of the most multi-passionate people I know. And so we connect very much on the fact that we live the life of the multi-potentialite, which is why, you know, she has been able to do so many things. So yes, it's called, what's the new name? I have to get used to the new name.
I know, you have to get used to it too. Cam's Nutrition Design Lab.
And the reason for that is because she is transitioning into another part of her
I'm
business
following another
herself.
part of my passion.
She's following more breadcrumbs. So definitely stay tuned for next week, where we are going to dive a little bit into that conversation. And so you can see in real time what it looks like for real people, because like I said, it was such a well-received episode. People loved it. Cam, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Tam.
I am so grateful for you to join us. I'm grateful for you to be a part of this conversation, this community, this awesome community. And I hope that they also jump on the Cam's train, wherever that train is going. You want to go, trust me.
So the train is going all different directions, but it's fine.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Talk soon. Mwah.
Bye.